Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I am going to be making, whoa, there's a lot of hair on this ball of yarn. That is gross. So as you can see from the title, today we're going to be making another car accessories video, and today it is going to be coffee themed because coffee is one of my favorite things. So I have already been working on another tutorial for like 2 weeks now, so this isn't going to be coming out and it's going to have been a while since I posted anything. I was making a bag that I got inspiration for like 6 months ago, honestly, and I started the video back then, so it was a work in progress, and now that I almost have it done, I am really debating whether or not it's a flop. I just feel like it's ugly, and I don't know how to explain it. So I'm gonna let that sit for a while, and then we'll see if I still like it. So I have 4 different colors of browns here. I'm trying to figure out which ones are the best. All of these are just Bernat premium yarns. So I think actually this one might be Red Heart, but it's just all acrylic, size 4, just your regular yarn that I'm going to be using. And I'm also going to be using a 4mm crochet hook. I'm going to need a yarn needle. We're gonna need some polyester fiber fill and, you know, all that jazz. So we're just gonna get into it. We're going to be starting with this color. So like usual, we'll be starting off with our magic ring. We're gonna just start with our 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So it's 4, 5, 6. And then once you have your 6 single crochets, we're going to close the circle and slip stitch into our first single crochet, and then we will chain 1 and start our next round. We're going to be increasing all the way around in our next round, and in order to do that, we're going to be making 2 single crochets in every single crochet around. And we're not going to be working into this last one here because this is our slip stitch. So we're going to work into the first one here that we slip stitched into, and I'll try to explain later why I do that. But we're going to just go right into this one and make 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and then we're going to go into the next stitch and we're going to make 2 single crochets again and all the way around, and this should get you up to 12 stitches, just making 2 in every single stitch. And once you've done your 12 stitches, you should still have this single crochet here not worked into. So then we're going to slip stitch into our first single crochet, which is up here, and just pull that through like that and chain 1, and you're ready for the next round. So the next round, again, we're going to be working right into the first one that we slip stitched into. So we're just going to make 1 single crochet in that stitch, and then in the next stitch we're going to make 2 single crochets, or we're going to increase, and then in the next stitch we will again just make 1, and the one after that we will increase and make 2. So you're just going to do that the whole way around, and every other one we're going to be increasing, and that should get you up to 18 stitches in a round. So we've made it around, and again, we're not going to the slip stitch. We're just going to slip stitch into the first single crochet and chain 1. And now we're going to make 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the second stitch, and then 2 single crochets or an increase into the third. And we're going to repeat this the whole way around to get 24 stitches in a round. And then for our next round, we're going to make 3 single crochets in each of the first, we're going to make 1 single crochet in each of the first 3 single crochets, and then we will increase in the 4th one, and this should get us to 30 stitches in a round. Ooh. Just like that. So 1, 2, 3, and then an increase in the next one. All right, now we're going to start our single crochets all the way around. And we're gonna want to be keeping 30 single crochets. All right, so we're gonna be making single crochets for 6 rounds, and you just wanna be sure that you're keeping the same number of 30 stitches for every single round as we go about this. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the 6 rounds of single crochets, and then I will be right back and we will continue our cup together. All right, so I went ahead and I did 6 rows of this, and now we're going to be increasing again. So our repeat for this round will be 4 single crochets, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase in the next one, and we'll repeat that around, and we will get 36 stitches at the end. And then we will continue for another 6 rows after this, keeping 36 stitches in our round. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this round of increases, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish the next 6 rounds of 36 stitches, and then I'll be back here and we will do the next one. Okay, so I finished the 6 rows. Use a little yarn for a marker. And then I'm just going to tie off here. I'm going to be using this really dark brown. So we're going to start off with a magic ring. And we're going to make the lid separately and then sew it together before we stuff this. I think that will be the way that will work the best. And then we're going to start with 6 single crochets into our magic ring. And we're going to continue this the same way we started our cup with the increases. Chain 1 after you slip stitch, and we're going to increase around 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then for our next round, again, we're just going to be doing chain 1 and then an increase. Single crochet 1 time and then an increase. I apologize. And single crochet 1 time and then an increase, and then we should end up with 18. We should have had 12 in the last one. We should have 18 at the end of this one. So 2 single crochet and then an increase. That will be our next row, and that should take us up to 24 stitches in a round. Sorry, not row. I always say it wrong. I'm pretty sure every single time I work on a project in rounds, I say row, and every time I work on a project in rows, I say rounds, and it makes absolutely no sense at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this round, and I'll be back. Now for the next round, after we slip stitched and chain 1, I'm going to be single crocheting around all the way with no increases. So we're going to be working in the front loops. If I can get my hook through the front loop. You want to be sure that you keep your same number of 24 stitches at the end of this round. And now, as you can see, we have an indentation. And this is going to be for like the lid. You'll see what I mean once we get closer. And now we're going to continue with our increases, but we're going to be doing this on the outside loops to try and keep this shape as dramatic as possible, if that makes sense. We're going to do 3 single crochets in the outer loops. That is my timer. But anyways, I'll get to that shortly. 3 single crochets and then an increase. And I'm doing this in the back loops. We're going to be just keeping the same number of 30 stitches, and we are just going to single crochet all the way around. And for this round of single crochets, we're just going to be making it through both loops, just single crocheting normally. So you're going to do the same thing for the next round as well, so that you have 2 rounds of these single crochets in total. We're going to do 5 single crochet and then an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then an increase, and this will get us up to 35 stitches in a round. And now for our next round, we are going to be increasing once again. So we're going to do our chain 1, and then we're going to do our 6 single crochet and then an increase to get us up to 40 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think is what I said, and then an increase. So that is the lid. We're gonna go ahead and set that aside. I guess you could also, what you should do is leave a string long enough for tying, but I forgot again, so that won't be happening. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the sleeve for the cup. So this right down here was 30, was it? Yeah, because this was 36. So it's 30 to 36. I'm going to be using the caramel color. You can pick whatever color you want, but this is the color I'm going to use. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to chain the number of stitches that we have around, which will be our 24. So just chain 24 times, and then we're going to make sure that our chain stays straight and it doesn't twist around. So we're just going to insert it into our first one. And make a slip stitch. And then we're just going to chain 1. And we're going to single crochet in every single chain around so that you have 24 single crochets. 1, 2, and then we will just slip stitch back into the beginning single crochet. We're just going to make sure that she fits. Okay, and then I'm going to do 1 round of single crochets, again trying to make them kind of loose. Oh, forgot the chain 1. So we're going to do 1 round keeping the same number of stitches, and then come back here after you finish that round, and then we will go ahead and start the increases for our next round. And now we're going to start with our increases, which is from 24 to 30, which means 3 single crochets followed by an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to single crochet all the way around, keeping the same number of 30 stitches in our round. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that, and then I will be right back. Okay, I finished the second round of single crochets, and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch back into my first single crochet and tie it off. I'm not sure if I'm going to tie this. I might glue this on just to make things easier for myself. How do I tie it on? You can pick whatever you want. I'm gonna leave a string long enough to tie it on or sew it on. That way, if I decide to do that, I can do that. But yeah, now we're just gonna be sure that it fits, because this has to go. Yeah, it's pretty good. So I was gonna make kind of a Starbucks logo, but why wouldn't I just make my own logo, sort of? So I'm going to be using this thread. You can go ahead and use whatever. Yeah, whatever size. If you want to use more acrylic yarn, you can just kind of do your own thing, but I'm going to be making it with this and kind of make my own logo on my coffee cup. So if you have the thread, if you don't have the thread, I'm pretty much just making a flat circle to put on the cup. If you want to do a row of a different color, go for it, but this is how I'm going to be doing it, and I probably won't leave instructions for this because I'm guessing not many people have crochet thread or even like using crochet thread, but this is what I'm going to be using, and this is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just going to start my circle. I'm going to be doing it in rows of 8, so the first or rows divisible by 8, I believe. So the first one's just gonna have 8 stitches, and then we'll increase from there until I feel like I have the right size. Okay, so I made my own little logo. This is all I'm gonna be doing for it. This is going to be going right, ooh, where's the end of this? Here we are. Right on top of here. So that's how I'm gonna be doing it. You don't have to put anything on there if you don't want to, but I'm gonna be putting this little guy right here. This is also why I didn't use acrylic yarn, because you can see how thick this sleeve is on here. Sorry, I forgot the word. And yeah, so this is how I'm going to be doing it. Perfect. So now I guess it's time to sew it all together. I'm going to turn it so that the two seams are right kind of on top of each other. And I'm just going to sew it on at least the top section where I have this long yarn. And then I might do some glue on the bottom, but actually probably not, because this is should stay very nicely. So I'm just gonna be stitching it on all the way around. Grab myself a smaller needle, and we'll start trimming this down. I know I could just glue this on. Should I just glue this on? Okay, so I've officially attached it. I have a little bag of stuffing here, so I'm gonna go ahead and start stuffing the coffee cup before I put the lid on it. And I'll just set that there. And you don't want to stuff it too much, because if you still want it to hold the right shape. Oh, I was gonna do this like over here. No, I just realized that's whatever, it's fine. I'm just gonna stuff it like that much for a start, I think, because I want the bottom of the cup to still look flat. So we're just gonna go ahead and sew it on. All right, so I sewed everything together, and this is how my coffee cup looks. So now, after we've made this, we're going to make our chain. I think I'm gonna just insert my yarn needle. You can also pull like a slip stitch through, which would probably be the better option. But I'm just gonna tie it in my knot like that. But you can just pull a slip stitch through. Honestly, that would probably have been a way smarter idea. But anyways, and now I'm gonna go ahead and chain 70. 1, 2, 3, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. And then after you've done that, we're going to slip stitch into the next, into the stitch opposite from where we inserted our other one, or you can attach it however you want. We're going to start the coaster with our magic ring. And my inspiration, I'm gonna try and make, whoa, that did not work, latte art coasters. And for some reason I cannot make a magic ring today. Are you serious? Anyways, you're gonna make 6 single crochets in a magic ring. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're gonna close that up. And slip stitch into our first single crochet. Just like that. Then we're going to chain 1 to start our next round. And our next round is going to be increasing in every single stitch around. That means in every single stitch, we're going to single crochet 2 times. So yeah, just 2 single crochets in every stitch around, and that should get you from 6 single crochets up to 12. Also, one thing that I do is I do start my increases right into the same single crochet that I slip stitched into, because with the chain 1 to start each round, if you don't do it right into the same stitch, then you're gonna see your spiral starts, well, it's gonna start to spiral around because it'll be starting 1 stitch over every single round, and if you don't mind that, go for it, but that just really bothers me. So that's why I do that. And once you've made your 12 single crochet, or you have the round and you have your 12, you should still have what looks like 1 stitch left over. I always make them really tight so that it's not too obvious, but that is your slip stitch. That is not a stitch to work into, and this here is your chain 1. So you're going to go onto your first single crochet and we're going to slip stitch in there. Do not single crochet into the slip stitch. I always make those really tight so that I am not tempted to work into them, and so that they don't stick out too much. So just pulling it like really tight like that. Then we're going to chain 1, and our next round is going to be alternating. So as you can see right here, what I was trying to say before, so I slip stitched into this stitch right here. It's a little bit messy, but the one right here. And so that's the one that's going to be my starting single crochet. So I'm gonna single crochet into the first one, just 1 time. And then the second one, I'm going to single crochet 2 times. 1, 2, and we're just going to work it like that the whole way around. In the first one, we're going to do 1, and then the next one, we're going to do 2. And this should get us all the way up to 18 single crochets in a round. And you should end with an increase and then have your slip stitch, and then we're going to skip over to our first single crochet and slip stitch into that and chain 1. And now our next round is going to be again a single crochet into the first one that you slip stitched into, 1 single crochet into the second, and then an increase in the third, which again is 2 single crochets into your third stitch. And then we're just going to do that and repeat that around, 2 single crochets and then an increase. And this should get you up to 24 stitches in a round. Okay, after you've finished this round and slip stitched into your single crochet, we're going to chain 1, and then for the next round we're going to be making 3 single crochets, one single crochet in the first 3 stitches, like in each of them. Let me say that again. We're going to make 1 single crochet in each of the first 3 stitches. There we go, nailed it. And then in the next one, we're going to make 2 single crochets into the 4th stitch, just like that. And then again, 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And then we're going to make 2 single crochets into the 4th one. Yeah, and then this will get you up to 30 stitches in a round. So I'm going to finish this round and then I'll be right back. Okay, and then for our next round, I've already chained 1. So we're going to make 1 single crochet in each of the first 4, 2, 3, 4, and then in the 5th one, we're going to make 2 single crochets. And this will take you up to 36 stitches once you've done this all the way around. So again, 1 single crochet in each of the first 4, 3 and 4, and then 2 single crochets into the 5th one. So I will finish this and then I'll be right back. And then once you have chained 1 after you started the next round, we're going to make 6 half double crochets, I think. Nah, let's make 5. I'll decide. 3, decisive even with my own patterns. 4, 5. I think I'm gonna go with 5. I think 5 looks nice. Let's see, we'll slip stitch into the second one from where you're working. And what do we think? Doesn't need another one? No, 5 looks good. Okay, perfect. And then the second one from where you're working, so this is one we worked into, not this one, but this one, we're going to make another 5 half doubles, and I've been working with scrap yarn, so I need to get another piece. So that was number 1. And then 2, 3, 4, and 5 in that same stitch. And then this is the one we worked into. And then skipping this one and then into this one, we're going to slip stitch. And then that's the one we slip stitch into. We're skipping this one, and into the second one, we're going to make another 5 half double crochets. 1, whoops, stupid tails. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then not into this one, but into the next one, we're going to slip stitch. And you're just going to work that the whole way around. I'm going to cut these tails off so they're out of my way. I've weaved them in far enough. So yeah, we're going to work that the whole way around, and then I'll be right back. Okay, and then to finish this off, so we have the stitch that is the last one, and then we also have our slip stitch. So I'm not sure. I'm going to try slip stitching into our last one and see. It doesn't quite run together as well, so I think I'm going to slip stitch right into the slip stitch instead of the last single crochet, just to kind of make the center the same height as all the others. And then we'll chain 1 and then pull it really tight to fasten it off. The color that I'm going to be using is this same color that I used for the cup, and I'm going to try and put a latte art design in here. So I'm going to cut a long piece of yarn, grab my yarn needle. I like these metal ones better for this because the plastic ones don't go through as easily. And then I'm going to start at the bottom, which I think I'll have the ribbing. See this part here? This is what I was talking before, by the way. That if you wouldn't do it in the same stitch, it would start to like that, and that really pisses me off. So I'm gonna start right here on our second last row of increase. I'm just gonna insert it right there. I probably use way too much yarn, but better to have too much than not enough. And then I'm gonna go all the way up to the same row, but like right there. Start with our base design or line, and then should I start from the bottom? When you're doing this, you want to be sure to keep it nice and loose so that you don't bend your project, or yeah. I'm gonna stick this right in here. And I'm just gonna be skipping from one side to the other. Alright, and I just wanted to show you, so this is my first one, and then I also made a second one, and I made them a lot closer. I also moved the top down a little bit, and I just think it looks a lot nicer. And I made the middle in 2 segments so that it's not as movie. I don't know what you want to call it. So it doesn't wiggle around as much. So I put it through the center, which I'll probably redo this one because I just like this one so much better. So I'm going to go and I'm going to redo this one as well. But that is all for today's tutorial, which would be these guys. I'll have some pictures of them in my car later, and then you can see how they turned out. But yeah, that is it for today's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any other ideas of any other kinds of accessories you'd want me to make, like I know I always make the mirror hanger and then a set of coasters. If there's any other type of car accessories that you want me to make, I will definitely add those, because I've been considering going back and making part 2s to some of my car accessory tutorials, because I was thinking of making the seatbelt covers or console covers, or yeah, just stuff like that. So just let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas or anything that you would like to see. That is it. So don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any of my next tutorials, and I will see you in the next video. What are the odds we could find the center? Not very high, are they? I really want to use the center. Actually, I'm not going to do it in this one because this one's way too tight. Oh boy, I don't even remember what I was doing. So, was I increasing? I was increasing.